So
Yeah.
I'm go every day, but it's how do I not annoy the entire family and end up beat up in the middle of the night?
That's probably a challenge for a lot of people right now. So.
Especially for a guy like me. Hello, Dallas Fort Worth. It's Rick with Concert Connections, sponsored by PMC Entertainment. And as the rest of you are, I'm still in not really an undisclosed location. I'm blocked at home with the dogs. And actually, the door to my office is roped off so the dogs don't barge in. And the wife and son can't come in here and take me up and stick me in a closet. And this week's guest is Mr. Darren Wise. How are you, sir?
I'm all good, man. How about yourself?
Hanging in there. Like I said, I think I'm on week number 4 or 5, and I still work. So
Yeah.
I'm go every day, but it's how do I not annoy the entire family and end up beat up in the middle of the night?
That's probably a challenge for a lot of people right now. So.
Especially for a guy like me,
Yeah.
who I always say the wrong thing.
That's okay.
Oh my Lord! So you're doing good. You haven't had to rush out and hoard a bunch of toilet paper.
No, nothing like that.
I found it amazing. I didn't buy any. I didn't have. We go to Costco.
Yeah.
It's the $5 million store.
Right. Yeah. No, it's been pretty much business as usual for me, which I'm not sure that I'm beginning to wonder if that's good.
You're like, my contact with the world hasn't really changed much.
No, actually not. No, it's kind of the same.
You didn't really have to change your routine much. So what do you do? What do your days typically consist of?
Wake up, pick up a guitar, start drinking some coffee. And just kind of depends on what day. If it's what kind of workout day it is. Ride the bike, hit the weights a little bit,
nice,
and just start working through some guitars and working through some music ideas.
Nice.
And see where that kind of leads me. You know, just kind of what inspires you, and then as you move through that, you'll either get inspired by something, and you'll continue working on that, or you'll find another guitar and play that for a little while, and then look at all the stuff you're supposed to be doing, and maybe you'll do some of that, and maybe you won't, and just totally depends.
Do you actually have a priority list? Like, if I don't do that today, we'll do it tomorrow.
I kind of do, but I've also got several things that are finished and ready to go
musically.
So, then it's just figure out what to do with it. It's like, well, do we put this in a music placement service? Do we write something better? Do we have something better? Do we make a video for this? Can this be used in, is this a commercial? And just figure out what to do with music ideas.
That's awesome. I mean, you can't complain. That's awesome.
No, it's fun.
Is a lot of that for the show, or is it personal stuff?
It just depends on what the idea ends up being. It's like I just kind of, start working on some idea, and I think all songs and all musical ideas start in the same place. It's a melody line or something you hear in your head. As a musician, you probably have experienced that. You're just like, what could this be? Is this a song? Is this already a song?
Yeah.
And then kind of work through it and see where it takes you, and then try to figure out what to do with it. And so I've just written music for a lot of different purposes, mostly commercial purposes.
Yeah, nice.
Now,
full studio
the way it works out, but that was never the plan. The plan was just, the plan was to be Van Halen or something, and then and then as you work through music business stuff, you kind of figure out where you fit in and what you can do to contribute to something, or how to make money in it, You know, that's usually where people end up. It's like, how do I make money doing this? Is it on stage with this band, or, you know, an artist, a cover band, a tribute, whatever?
Yep.
Is it writing music for somebody? Is it working in a studio? So all the places that music, the music business will take you.
And now, when you first started, how did you start out? Because I have a couple questions. How did you originally start out?
For me, I was playing with some friends, and we heard about a guy who had a recording studio, and he turned out to be the guy that worked for Ted Templeman out of Criteria Studios in Miami, Florida, and he did all the Bee Gees records, all these like tons of all these like huge 70s and 80s pop bands. And I met him, and he was a producer, and started working on some stuff with him. And, you know, I had no idea what I was learning, you know, who I was encountering and what was going on.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is fun, you know?
I don't think any of us do it in the beginning. I think we're all just like, woohoo, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm very grateful for meeting people like that. And I got to work with a record label, a guy named Bill Ham. And that experience where the people there, that was a learning experience, and some producers I met through that. Then I did some work for a label and met a bunch of producers and people at labels that way.
What do you like better, studio or live?
Well, you kind of can't have one without the other.
That's true.
And I love both, but you can get enough of both of them. You know?
Yes. I mean,
for all kinds of reasons, for every reason, you know. And
I actually enjoy the prep for the studio.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
Yeah.
and I know some people go, that's just glorified rehearsal. No, it's actually polishing. It's fun, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, and in that process, you start thinking in terms of everything you do. You're like, well, how would I record this?
Yeah.
You know, as you're going through it, you're like, would I really hit all these notes, or would I do this? Or for you, you know, would I do the 5 straight, you know, roll here, or the 9 or the 7, or what's going to fit in this song and make it work? And what's the melodic flow of the song?
Yeah.
And how do we make that work? And all
And
the
it can
things
change day by day.
that.
You can come back tomorrow and go, God, you know, that sounded great yesterday, but I got something better.
Yeah, you think about that too, about all the records that have been recorded, and you're like, if these guys had recorded this on, you know, Wednesday instead of Tuesday, like, because every time they play the song, they're doing another version of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's part of the creative process that I will tell you, you know, being I retired from music for a few years and then got back into it. And I've enjoyed doing the truck tributes and the covers, but there's still, if you're a musician, there is something about doing originals that is just the creative process of taking a blank slate and going, let's paint a picture and let's see what comes out. Be it, I heard a song by ZZ Top and I was inspired with a drum beat, or, you know, I heard, you know, a Green Day song or whatever it is, you know, and you go, oh, I was inspired and I came up with this. And you just, you know, and it's funny because I didn't know this story. I guess Nickelback started out, one of the hated bands of all time, started out as a cover band, and they played so many covers. Eventually, when they started writing their own, it just, we all know they've got a zillion hits.
That's the way Van Halen worked in a lot of ways. They were a cover and dance band, and so they, you know, but that's you know, that's the story. That's the way they tell the story. Like,
I like.
We were a cover and dance band, so we wanted the chicks to like us, so we wrote songs like this, and that
we all say that. Every single musician goes, "Yeah, I got into music because I wanted to pick up chicks." It's, you know, it's
yes. What's wrong with this?
I just chose to be a drummer. If I had known that there was an easier instrument that I didn't have to haul so much crap,
right?
Right. I would have gone a different road.
Right.
But no, I was called to drums day one. I knew I was given a guitar, and I was like, "There's too many." Sorry. I've got a bass, guitar. They're too small and close together. I'm moron. Can't do it.
I think it's whatever you're kind of drawn to, and then whatever you have a natural talent for. And I wanted to play the drums. There was a set of drums at my house, but
you became guitars.
I couldn't pull that together. And then I think, I saw some people destroy guitars on TV, and I was like, whatever that is, I need to be a part of that. So
now, do you hear it the way I've heard interviews with Dave Grohl, what great drummer, but he plays guitar and he depicts it as a drum set, the way he hears his rhythms and all the strings. Is there any, do you hear any of that?
Yeah, definitely. I think guitar is also a percussive instrument, or you can make it one. And I think that really all writing and music creation is really about hearing melody line. So if you can hear a melody or a song, whether that's notes in a progression of chords, or whether those are the lyrical content, however you hear it, if you hear musical ideas, you can create them. And I think it's easier to make them on guitar or piano, but you can create an idea with drums. You're setting the progression and the tempo of something.
Yeah.
So you can create that way.
I actually like being the heartbeat of the band. I've always enjoyed it. There's something about it that, again, I don't need all the glory. I just, something about banging on the drums.
It didn't stop Neil Peart at all.
Oh my God. And it's funny, I didn't realize, you as a drummer, you have to be in awe of his genius, but it wasn't until after his passing and I did a little more research that I realized just how multifaceted he was. I didn't realize he'd written books, and just the depth of his brain blew me away.
His literary, he was very inclined with everything, like books and poetry. So he loved literature, and it really was amazing to know that this guy who was really thought of as the drummer could write all this lyrical content.
Look at Stuart Copeland of the Police.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude too. Really amazing drummer.
He's one of my top favorites. I did get to see the Police. I was fortunate. I'm in awe. When you watch interviews with him, and I guess back when the Police were young, he would take a little camera, a Super 8 camera everywhere with him, and he's always shooting footage. That's why there's so much great early footage of the Police from their point of view.
Whatever, I think it was Andy Summers' documentary, though.
Yeah, it might have been
about being in the Police. Whatever, I can't remember the title of it, but it was pretty interesting. And what an amazing band! And it's cool to see that someone was documenting that the whole time.
I wish I had that kind of foresight. I'm more like a clown, a court jester who's like, I'm just happy to be here.
I understand.
So let's dive in a little bit to the show that you guys you've got going on. That's the Drew Pearson show, right?
Yes.
How did you tie in with that? Was it a goal? Did you audition? How did you dive into that?
Well, the show started in 2000. What I got this channel, but it looked really cool to sponsors, and it was officially on TV, so people thought that was pretty hot stuff. And I was just, I was playing in a band, and the guy who was doing the show called me and was like, "Hey, would you like to, create some music for this TV show?" And I was like, "Why would I want to do that? I'm in a rock band." So when I went home and I thought about it, and I was like, "Wow, I'll bet my kids are not impressed by my rock band status at all." I was like, "I'm in a band. We've got a record deal. I got a hit song, and we're playing with so and so." And they're like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
Are the Wiggles involved in this? And I was like, "No."
Oh my God.
So I was like, they were not impressed with that at all. So I thought about it, and I was like, wow, TV could be, what if, and so, I thought about it, and I called the guy the next day. I was like, will I get to be on the TV show? And he was like, yes. I was like, okay, when do you want a song? And he was like, send me a song. And I was like, okay. He was like, we need a theme song. So I recorded a little idea for him and sent it to him. And I was like, whatever you do with this idea, don't show it to anybody. And it's me, like, in some boxers on my couch playing with a guitar. And when I got the idea for it, I was changing strings on this guitar, and it only had 5 strings on it. I was like, don't show this to anybody. He's like, oh, don't worry, I won't. So he calls me the next day, and he's like, hey, you want to go to this meeting with ESPN? They love your song. And I was like, I thought we agreed we weren't going to, how did you show them? Because I sent him the video. It's like, I thought we agreed we weren't going to send the video. And he was like, no,
there were only 5 strings.
Yeah, well, yeah. But anyway, so then I created the song for it, and that show went on for a few seasons, and then it came back on ABC last year. And so since I'd done the music for it before, they liked the theme and everything.
Come on back.
Yeah. And I made a good relationship with Drew back then, because I was a huge fan of Drew Pearson's anyway.
Nice.
He's a staple of the Cowboys, football lineage and everything. So I was already a huge fan. So meeting him was really cool, and then working for him was really cool. And I got to, hang out in all the interviews and meetings with all kinds of, Hall of Fame football players.
Just going to say great.
And sit there and listen to all these stories about the things they talked about in the huddles, the way they took snacks away from fans, the stuff they did back then. And all this is stuff that you will never hear this anywhere but from them. So that part was really cool. But I would say for me now, the coolest thing about the show and what came out of it last season was all the charity stuff that they did for people.
That's awesome.
That was unbelievable. I was all too happy to be a part of that in any way I could.
And I think that's part of the beauty of being in the scene, with any way, shape, or form of business, is being able to give back. It's not just what can I take, it's what can I give back. A
lot of these dudes really get it too.
You hope not all of them, but most of them do. They realize, what, I need to give back. And I think that's where the true sense of gratification comes from. It's not about what are you doing for me. It's as I always tell my son, who's 19, almost 20, I'm like, if you do somebody a favor, there's no payment needed. The pleasure I get out of doing the favor, that's payment. That's
no doubt, no doubt.
So helping other folks, right on. That's awesome.
It's a win-win.
Now, how often do you all get together as a band for the show? Are you guys doing it weekly or?
Well, for the show is only during the football season.
Correct.
So everyone that I brought in for the band was really professional.
Yeah.
And already, very, very capable of doing the job.
Nice.
And I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of issues with them with the scheduling of it.
Yeah.
And everyone's ability to do the job. And
nice.
So I tracked everything, brought that in, showed everybody what everybody really knew what to do. I believe that if you have the right people for whatever job, they already know what to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
And everybody just really went to their role in it and performed just the way they needed to.
Nice.
And everybody, everybody's happy to be there. Everybody's gracious and humble about the whole thing, and everybody's happy to be involved.
Makes your life a lot easier, and as a business, it makes things run so much smoother.
Yeah, definitely. You have the right people, you're in business.
Because I honestly think that sometimes musicians forget that this is still a business, and some of the the best, most successful bands are ones that have their business, their game plan down, and then they treat it professionally. It's not just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. This is a business. How do we get from A to B?
Everyone I know that's been in this for a while and is really making a living doing it takes it totally serious. It's as business as it can be.
Oh yeah.
If they weren't playing music, they would be successful at something else.
Very true. Very true.
And they're usually involved in other businesses because you can't go out and tour 365 days a year, but you still have to make money. So you're looking into whatever occupation. I don't know any pro musicians that aren't involved that don't own a studio, tour with somebody else.
Yeah.
When they're not building cabinets and making whatever they've got going on, they've always got some other business going on. They've got their lawn service. They've got their, you name it. They're like, we install cable and we're digging, we're installing pipelines, whatever they're doing to make money.
I'm a mortgage analyst. I write mortgages for people all day, and then I run my show, and then I'm in 2 bands, and dad, husband. I still pick up dog turd and mow my own yard. That's what you do. It's, it's not just about, can I go party all night and sleep all day? It's I'm up at 6 a.m. I've got a business to run. It's.
I still haven't figured out to do the party all night and every day. Haven't figured that out yet.
It's funny because
I'm still working on that.
It's just a fun business. You know what I mean? It's not really work. It's we've been doing my show for a couple of years, started from scratch, and I'll be honest with you, I love doing this. There's a lot, there is prep that goes into it. Not a whole lot, but you do it every week. It's scheduled, and you just do it. It's not like it's a chore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will say, I miss rocking out with folks. I am ready to get back in the studio, rock out, just be around other human beings.
I think everybody's ready to have more interaction.
Oh my Lord, absolutely. So now with football season on hold right now, or everything on hold, you guys are still obviously you're still prepping, get ready. So when things do open back up,
so my only job is just to create some music for the show. It'll be like walk-on music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And last season I created a bunch of extra walk-on music, commercial music for, segue music, whatever you want to call it. But there's kind of a couple of themes there that I know are going to stay. Okay. And then the segue music can be something else, and we might do something for one of the sponsors. We can create some music for them, or we've produced some commercials, a couple, I think, for some of the sponsors.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like local people and need that.
Yeah. So all the music that I hear on the show, that's pretty much you guys. You're writing it. You guys are. That's all your stuff.
Yeah, I just went in the studio and recorded it all.
Nice. So you said sponsor a minute ago. Let's talk about your sponsor, because you have an awesome little ad right now on Facebook. And I think there's a banner next to you.
Yeah. No, I didn't know we were going to be Skyping, right?
No,
I would have put on a shirt. Well,
oh my God. Are you kidding me? I love it even better because you're like, I'm relaxed at home.
No, there's really a Gibson banner on my couch. Because it showed up.
Okay.
It showed up with a bunch of other Gibson stuff. So
nice. Now,
happily.
Have you been a Gibson your whole career?
Well, yeah, and I was always playing Les Pauls.
Okay.
These Explorers, Gibson stuff.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
They make some great stuff.
Yeah. And it's always nice when you've got somebody, again, that caliber of a company behind you. Anybody who knows anything about being a musician, gear costs a lot of money. It's not cheap.
Yeah, no, Gibson's been really great.
Good.
They're awesome.
And
was
part of that because of the show?
It's partially the show, and then just kind of what you're doing with the product, kind of what it's linked to, I guess.
Okay.
I put lots of music in television, like commercials and like NASCAR.
Nice.
Major League Baseball, ESPN, the Cooking Channel.
The Cooking Channel.
All these different TV shows.
Yeah.
And then so we'll say things about discuss that on social media.
Yeah. Good.
Talk about the different stuff we use their guitars for.
Nice.
And they make really great stuff. Great guitars. There's kind of some new people at Gibson.
Okay.
And they're really qualified to build, on the history and legacy.
Did you have them build you a custom guitar?
Well, I spec'd out some stuff that was just really all it was the colors.
Okay.
I didn't really change anything, and I've been asked if they're like, do you want one that's like bright blue or pink or whatever? And I'm like, I really want them to be historic, kind of, like traditional Gibson colors, kind of what they're known for.
Yeah.
And let the guitar companies that make pink and blue guitars make those.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to it. But I love everything, I'm like most musicians. It's like if it has strings and it wants to stay in tune and sound great. It looks cool.
I would take a drum endorsement, but and anybody who knows me and pays attention, I am a diehard Ludwig guy. I've got a 65 Ludwig, and I've got an Ernie. I guess it's a 78 Ludwig that I just picked up. And I'm a Ludwig. I like vintage gear. Cool. The only thing that I like new are my sticks, my heads, and my cymbals. Everything else I like old. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
And then just beat the crap out of it.
It's really whatever works for you. And,
yeah.
And that can also change too. I think sometimes you might go on a studio and work with a piece of gear and realize, this is really cool. And that kind of happened to me. I ventured into a Guitar Center one day, and my friend said, check out this new custom shop Les Paul. And I started playing, and I was like, wow, where have I been?
Yeah.
And
can I take it home?
Yeah, right. So then I was out at NAMM and checking out the Gibson stuff, and was just so impressed with what they're making. I was like, this is really awesome.
Yeah.
Great company building great stuff. And I just also, when I play their guitars, I really hear a lot of the sounds that I hear on records.
Okay. Stuff that you fell in love with.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, growing up, I worshipped these guitars.
You have to.
You have to. Older brothers and sisters, and there was always a Led Zeppelin record, some Van Halen, whatever going on, and that's what I heard growing up, and I love the tone of Les Pauls.
Nice,
and the stuff they make.
So now, outside of the show, I know we talked a little bit about it. Your musical project kind of on hold right now. Yes.
So what we were going to be working on was a one project was a cover band that was just going to cover all kinds of stuff, to play various stuff that we just, all these really talented musicians I know.
Yep.
Were like, let's do this. And I was like, let's do. And then I was asked about a couple of tribute projects, and those sounded cool. And a couple of original projects, and then you want to say yes to everything and do everything you can, because it all sounds fun. I've kind of discovered that most musicians, if you got whatever bands they're in, if you stuck them all in a room together and said, let's jam, they're like, let's do.
Yeah.
Musicians usually want to play whatever the situation is, but then the circumstances of real life kind of step in and tap the brakes on all the projects we want to do, and the stuff that works out is the stuff we usually end up doing.
Yeah.
But most musicians will say yes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
If whoever contacted me and said, let's do this, I'm like, okay, why not? If I have time to do it and I can do it, I'll be happy to. So I get asked to play on a lot of stuff, and I try to do all of it if I can.
Do you know how many musicians in the scene I would love to just sit down and jam with? Just let's go to the studio, whether it makes it on stage or not. Yeah. There are so many that I'm like, let's just go rock out.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Which
that's what musicians want to do. They want to make music.
Absolutely.
And if there's people around that they're inspired by, that helps.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's an itch. And you have no choice. You have to scratch it. Otherwise, you will go insane. Oh, my Lord.
You may not have to go anywhere.
So, but really, you're kind of just like, we'll wait and see what happens right now.
Yeah, there's stuff that I definitely want to pursue, because, you want to create stuff, you want to create music, and then there's stuff that will be good because you'll get to get out and perform.
Yeah.
And that'll be good for you.
I'd only
get out in front of people and play music. That's always a good thing.
It's
they love it, you love it, so everybody wins. Maybe you make some money doing it. And then there's stuff that you want to write and pursue that.
The itch to go back and do the original stuff is there. I had never been in a cover band or a tribute band before, and I'd only done originals my whole life. And it's a blast. But my old project, Quickie, supposed to get back up to Seattle, and just the way things have happened, life, it's just everything gets pushed back and pushed back. I'm hoping to go up and cut one more album, with the guys, and which is fun. I like doing the original stuff, but just even locally, again, there's so many talented musicians that you're just like, I want to rock out with you, and just let's see what happens. The tribute thing it's interesting and fun, because every time you get on stage, it's like it's a hit song, and people go, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, music can be used for a lot of things. I mean, it's music in advertising, it's music for television. I mean, it's for commercials. It tells the story on film. It sets the tempo for a television show. You can sell cars, beer, and razor with, I mean, whatever you're selling.
Brings everyone together. It's truly
theme for
music
sports.
is the one thing that tears
it is a universal language, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's also the entertainment factor, and there's a lot of people who want to go out and see a band, and maybe that band's not on tour that day.
Yeah.
And so they get to, and there's a bunch of really good tribute bands in Dallas.
Yes, there are.
There's a bunch of really good bands in Dallas, and I hear people talk about other music scenes. Like I'll be in California or somewhere, and they'll be saying, "Oh, it's this," and I'm like, none of these places can really touch Dallas. Actually, Dallas has the best music scene of any city that I know of.
I was in Seattle in the '90s, and we had a phenomenal scene. Phenomenal scene.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I feel very fortunate to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth music scene here now. Phenomenal people, so many talented bands. The only thing that disappoints me is I really want originals to come on my show and promote, and getting them to come on has been difficult. And there's almost like an animosity between originals and the cover tribute scene, and it's like we're all musicians. I truly, I'm hoping one day it'll click and they'll come on.
I don't get that at all. I have no idea why that's the case at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the politics of things. I don't understand that either. I'm like, none of these people are on your side. None of them identify with you, and they're just there to become politicians. They're just there to get elected. That's all they're doing.
Exactly.
They're not really your friends. So,
oh my Lord.
And the band situation, I think everything's got its place. It all does.
It will.
No matter what it is, it's got there's a demographic out there that's either buying it or going to see it. They're consuming it some way and they're paying for it.
So I've been listening to a lot of Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass while I've been in isolation. And there's actually a tribute called A Taste of Herb. And I want to go see it when this is all over with.
Why not?
I don't know how familiar you are with Herb Alpert, but I grew up listening to Herb Alpert. So now I'm like, ooh, I want to go see them.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of tributes too. There's bands that people won't get to experience.
Yeah. They are. And hopefully it opens your eyes to, I've honestly, I've had my eyes open to different musics that, maybe that I wasn't, different bands or different music styles that I wasn't necessarily into. It's again, it's the great uniter. I in my opinion, music is we all love music. Everyone.
So true. It brings everyone together, and you can look at a concert and there's people, every kind of background, political views, whatever, and that all kind of fades into the background while they're having
goes away. So
that speaks to the power of that.
I meant to ask you earlier, with all your writing and everything you're doing, home studio?
That's funny. No, nothing real elaborate. No, I do everything like on, I do everything on mostly like GarageBand, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I don't think I'm ever going to be the record producer or engineer that I would need to be to create any of the stuff that I make that goes out into the world.
You're not going to be the next Butch Vig?
No. Although I absolutely love him, and I love his philosophy around the fact that every hit song has to start off with the drum beat from another hit song. I'm
a huge Butch fan.
Interesting
huge
dude.
Butch fan.
Yeah, no, he's created a lot of cool stuff. But no, all my stuff's very simple.
Yeah.
And create the idea and then start demoing it up with a producer in a real studio. And but it all has to start someplace.
Yeah.
But it's usually voice memos and stuff like that.
You're on your phone, leaving yourself a note, humming bars into your phone.
Like daily.
That's greatness. So I always admire your tattoos, and I wanted to ask you, plans for more? Are you good?
I would like to get some more, but he's really busy.
You said you said down at Elm Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the gentleman that works there has worked for Oliver Peck. He owns the place.
Okay.
And, he's on a tattoo show, and he's got a bunch of talented people working for him. He's been there for a long time.
Nice. Yeah, I've been working on this, and now I'm ready to start this side of my chest. I'm ready to quarter sleeve both sides, fill it in. Yeah, I'm antsy now, but like I gotta have lidocaine. I cry the whole time. I'm a princess.
I don't know what happens. It's like after a few minutes, it kind of goes away. I don't know what's going on.
I wish she has a beautiful sleeve, and I'm always like, did it hurt when you got like here? Or he goes, yeah, it was okay. I'm like, dude, I'd have been bawling. Like when they got really close here, he's like, not a big deal. I'm like, how do you go to sleep during that? Are you kidding me?
It's gonna turn it out.
Yeah.
It just depends too. And I think there's like a depth they can do the needle, but I don't know that much about the tattooing.
I go over and see. I go to 7 Magnum and see David Vallejo, and he takes pretty good care of me. I know that. I know Mike Hamill's boys got a shop open up now out in Forney, and he's doing some incredible art.
Cool.
So,
yeah. No, there's like a lot of really talented tattoo artists in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's like the music scene only with tattoo artists. There's a lot of them.
I think that afterwards you're going to see a lot of Corona tattoos, and I don't mean the beer. You're going to see a lot.
I don't know what's going to happen after this. I'm predicting a like some kind of STD and DWI outbreak that people have never heard of. The Centers for Disease Control are going to have a completely new set of problems.
I am actually a firm believer that after all this is not just Texans, but that the U.S. We are the kind of folks that are just going to roll up our sleeves and go, let's get back to work. And I believe we will make a strong comeback, be it any industry across the board. I don't care. I believe in America. I believe in us as a human race. We're just like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get back to life.
I think that it's on. I think it's on. I think as soon as some of these whatever government guidelines or restrictions are on right now, as soon as that's over, I think it's on like gangbusters.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
It is. There we go. And I think it's going to be back in business. And you can't underestimate the human will to be happy or to make progress.
Yep.
And people want to be out there taking care of business and moving their lives forward.
I'm with you. And I'd like to not be suffocated in my sleep. I know my wife and my dogs look at me every morning when I wake up and they're like, today's the day we could just get rid of him. Hold the pillow. The dogs are over there going, hold the pillow over his face.
Right. It's an interesting situation. I think it's bringing people closer together in a lot of ways. I think it's also making us realize how many things we're distracted by. I think all the distractions that are going on in life of, the trips to the mall or whatever. And I hope it makes more people look at what they're really doing with their time.
I heard a quote today. I heard a quote today, and I hope I get this right. And it says, as we are all rushing to get back to life, stop and think about which things you really want to rush back to.
Yeah.
And I hope I wrote it down. I'm gonna have to go back and read it. But the gist of it is, do we really want to rush back to every aspect? I mean, are there things that maybe our family, we've started having dinner, because we've been home every night as a family. I'm normally at the studio 3 nights, at least a week. We've been playing board games. We've been spending time as a family. And my wife said, we've been cleaning the house, which, okay, after this is all done, I will still have chores that I have to stay on top of. But, little things like game time has been different for us. I hope that continues as a family long after this.
That's awesome, man. That's great. That's time well spent.
Yep.
And I think this might be a little reboot for people to look at their priorities as you're saying.
I got to tell you, thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out with me, man. I'm glad
Rick,
you guys are doing well.
I enjoyed it. It's great to have this conversation with you.
It's just, you know what? It's funny because I think we're all just like, for me, it's been weird not being in the studio because I'm a hugger. I'm used to having people there and I give you a hug. And that's one thing that will change with me. I'm probably going to be a little more, here's my bubble, which is tough for me. And it's somebody asked me, they go, Rick, are you going to, discontinue, pause your show until this is over? I'm like, no, I'll figure out a way. It's, I want to talk to people. I want to learn. I want to meet people. And, again, I want to promote. So it's, for me, it's been a different avenue. I had Lori Peters on, drummer for Skillet, a couple weeks back. And it's funny because she and I, we've yapped a little bit outside of here. And it's funny how it's just nice to keep up with people. Mike Bailey, from drummer for Bret Michaels, he and I have been talking. He's coming on, and it's funny how many folks that it's like, yeah, come hang out with me, man. Let's talk. And
it's a big, small world with musicians, I think.
I think it makes you realize what a really small planet we live on. I'm a firm believer. It's we're one community. We're a music community.
People are having the same experience. You know, a lot of people are living very similar lives. You know,
we all are. We all are.
Definitely.
I will say I've got some very stylish masks that were made for me.
Okay.
I've got one with Darth Vader and one with superheroes. And it's not that I'm overly paranoid, but I will say at 50, do I worry about it? Yeah, I'm getting a little older. You know, I'd like to not get sick, but
you're going to be just fine.
I know a few people that have actually had to bury their some family members, and it's, you know, again, it's sad, and my heart goes out to them. Ultimately, I think that we're going to be fine. I think that as a nation, we will come back, and they're going to give me, you know, I'll end up getting like a flu shot. You know, I'll get a shot for it, and we'll go down the road. We'll be okay. So
that's it, my man.
I miss Mexican food. Oh my God.
Well, that'll be back too.
Yes.
You're in
and Wingstop. Gotta have Wingstop.
Exactly.
Oh my Lord. Thank you for hanging out with me, my friend.
It was a pleasure talking with you, really.
Come do it again sometime.
And I definitely will.
Awesome.
All right.
We'll get together. I'd love to. I don't know if you guys ever let it. I'd love to come watch one of the filmings of your show. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but that would be fun.
Yeah, no, it's got they do some ads for shootings that are on Mondays.
Nice.
During football season. So look for that.
I'll look for it. Yeah,
and I'll hit you up. All right,
awesome.
Very cool.
Take care of you and
Rick,
your family.
Take care.
Please.
God bless, brother. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
All right, my man.
Thank you, Dallas Fort Worth, for hanging out with us. Again, you know, this is another couple minutes of your life that you're not getting back. I'm keeping them, and we're not charging you for it. I promise. It's all free. If you want, please follow my show. Go on Facebook, like us, ask your friends to like us. When shows start again and you're in a band, post your stuff there. You want to come on the show? I'd love to have you on. Ask me. You can follow us on iHeart Radio, on Spotify, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're on YouTube, obviously Facebook, and we have a Roku channel and an Amazon Fire channel. And I think the urinal cakes with my face are coming soon, since we couldn't get bobbleheads. So I mean, we've got all that going for us.
Very cool.
Yeah. I keep asking, is my mouth going to be open or closed? I mean, what am I in for here? So gotta have a sense of humor. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. I'm Rick. This is Darren. We're on Concert Connection, and we will see you in the pit.
Take care, brother.